The Federal and Devaki Specialty Hospital jointly present the Madurai Marathon 2024 Run for Health on Sunday, October 20th, 2024. Entry is free for all.
Hi viewers, it's been 1 year now since Hamas attacked Israel. Around 1,200 people were killed and 250 others were taken as hostages. And then the war ensued. The war in Gaza has killed more than 41,000 Palestinians, displaced most of the territory's 2.3 million population, and has sparked a humanitarian crisis that has led to widespread hunger. But where does it go from here? The Federal's managing editor, K.S. Dakshina Murthy, who follows international politics closely, is here to explain more about this. Hi, Dakshin.
Hi.
Dakshin, where does the conflict go from here now?
Well, that's a question, I don't think anybody really knows where it's heading from here. All we can now see is that Israel is unrelenting in its assault on Gaza. We cannot actually call it a war because Gaza is not, Gaza cannot really retaliate other than Hamas, which occasionally fires rockets into Israel. And, for the attack on October 7th last year, Hamas, nobody really knows what its intentions were and what it hoped to achieve. But the people in Gaza are now paying a heavy price for that. And as you said, I know around 41,000 people have died. Maybe there are people who are part of Hamas in that. There are a whole hell of a lot of civilians. There are children. Homes have been demolished. People have been displaced. So it's become a huge mess, actually. And Israel is continuing to carry out its assault despite entries, requests from around the world, from many countries to go in for a ceasefire, to halt the attack. But it doesn't appear to be doing that. And in the process, there are groups which are affiliated to Hamas and who are, fighting for the Palestinian cause, say from abroad, like the Hezbollah in Lebanon, or the, and Iran, of course, who are, who's considered the mentor for all these groups. And then, of course, the Houthis in Yemen, who are also part of this axis. So the point here is, it is kind of now spreading to other areas as well. There has been a sporadic attack from Iran, firing missiles into Israel. Israel has threatened to retaliate. We don't know in what manner that is going to happen. But Israel, it's not that Iran did it first. Israel also, it fired on its, it bombed its embassy in Damascus, killed a very senior Iranian official, and that pulled the Iran into this conflict directly. Then Iran, fired missiles, and then you had Israel killing the former prime minister of the Palestinian Authority, Ismail Haniyeh. So, and then you had Hezbollah, which has over the last year, it has been constantly firing rockets into Israel. But point is, it's not that it has caused any great damage, but Israel has decided that it's going to take on the Hezbollah. And, it's killed its leader, Hassan Nasrallah, and many other very key people in the hierarchy of Hezbollah. So what has happened is that it is now taking on a new kind of a direction, which can just about go anywhere unless the world, unless big powers in the world intervene and force Israel to put a halt to this. It looks like it's just going to go in ways no one can imagine.
Israel, like you said, is fighting Hamas on one hand, Hezbollah, and now has also warned Iran of retaliation. So, does Israel have the resources to continue fighting on multiple fronts? If so, how long can they sustain, fighting on three fronts?
See, Israel is not really an independent in the sense that it's not, it doesn't require to have all its resources within itself because it's backed by the world's biggest superpower, the United States. So whatever Israel does, the US is given it a blank check. It, in fact, hardly questions the actions of Israel. So Israel, it's like a huge, bank. The US is like a military bank as far as Israel is concerned. if it falls short of anything, there is always the US to supply it with that. So that's the least of their problems. To sustain this kind of a war is the least of the problems. And there is really, if you look at it dispassionately, other than Iran, which has fired missiles into Israel, and some of which have actually exploded on the ground and targeted its air base, and one fell very close to the Mossad headquarters. As far as Hezbollah concerned or Hamas is concerned, there's really no resistance in that sense, because their air power is nothing compared to Israel. So Israel is really not stretched in any manner. It's not like, say, the war between Ukraine and Russia, where both are stretched. Ukraine needs supplies and it gets it from the West. Russia is using up all its existing arsenal to fight back. So there is a real war there that's going on. Okay, though Russia invaded Ukraine, it's in no way comparable to what you see in Gaza. Here it's actually just a one-sided attack, one-sided assault by Israel on Gaza. That's it.
Right. And what is the condition of Hamas right now? You said there is no real, two-way battle going on, and this just Hamas is on the receiving. So what is the condition of Hamas right now?
Hamas is a guerrilla force in the sense that it merges with the local people. So what it does is that it has very limited arsenal, and many people in the Hamas fighters, they hide. There are considered to be very intricate tunnels below Gaza, which are, when we say tunnels, they are really huge tunnels where you can actually live, you can store supplies, you can move around very comfortably. So it is in these tunnels that the Hamas fighters exist. So, and it's not like they can constantly fight. So once in a while they come out, they retaliate. They may fire a couple of rockets, a few rockets, and then they go back. So, but for Israel, it's not so difficult to flush them out. In fact, just now, I've heard that there has been an attack on the Hamas, and many fighters have been killed. So it's a fight which has it's more like a desperate fight, a desperate resistance against Israel's might. Israel is very powerful. For instance, when Hamas fires a few rockets into Israel, some of them may target a building or it may fall on somebody, maybe a couple of people will die, but Israel in retaliation, normally uses its full air power. It sends in its F-16s, its armed, fighter helicopters. Then it, on the ground, the troops just come in and they target areas and they bomb. So there is simply no comparison. It's called a disproportionate war. It's not equal, basically.
Right. And how do you see this war coming to an end? Will it end in the first place, or if it does, how do you see it happening?
No. Obviously, one hopes. At least I hope that the fighting comes to an end, gives some relief to people who are caught in the crossfire, because not all Palestinians are in the fight. It is only a small group of people, the Hamas, which are fighting Israel. So, but then you have a large population which is paying a price for it. Of course, it's all fighting for whatever reason for independence and etc. etc. But the thing is that it should end. The fighting should come to a close, because Israel has made a point. Yes, Hamas attacked Israel on October 7. It upset Israel very deeply. It hurt their ego, for instance, because nobody had expected Israel to be such an easy target. Hamas exposed weaknesses in their defense. So, fine. So the point here is that Israel has done what it has done. It has retaliated. In fact, it has retaliated far more than anybody expected. And they could have made a point in a much more subdued manner. But for Israel, it's a great opportunity, because they've historically been trying to take over this entire region, of Palestine, and only West Bank and Gaza were the two last remaining portions where Palestinians were in some large numbers. So for Israel, politically, they are using this opportunity to wipe out as much of Gaza as possible. and then so that maybe at some later stage you'll have Jews come there, or they can build settlements there. We don't know, but it's really time that the war comes to an end, and the UN should really do something about it. Though of course the US is has its veto power and not allowing the Security Council to do anything. But I think outside of the UN, other countries should somehow get together. Big countries like Norway, which has in the past helped in the peace process. Something needs to be done very quickly.
Okay. So let's see 1 year of Israel-Hamas war, and let's see how it goes and where and how it ends. Thank you so much for your time, Dakshina.
The Federal and Devaki Specialty Hospital jointly present the Madurai Marathon 2024 Run for Health on Sunday, October 20th, 2024. Entry is free for